Testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test. Test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test, test. Beginnings. That's going to be the story here tonight at On Track Karting. We're going to have new points. We're going to have some new drivers. And perhaps most importantly, we're going to have new karts. On Track Karting has, after I believe 16, maybe 17 years now, they have finally moved away from Sodi karts into the new beginnings of Biz karts. And tonight here at On Track Karting, we have 36 drivers all set to go. We're gonna see who is the first driver to take an A main victory in the Biz karts. The first league night here at On Track with the new karts. Welcome in once again, folks, to On Track Karting. This is your host, Caboose. Getting set to bring you what's going to be a historic night here for On Track. First time in its history that it's not running Sodi karts. So here tonight with these brand new karts, it's going to be anyone's game. Who's going to get the job done with this new fleet out on the track? All right, folks, as I mentioned earlier, we do have 36 drivers all striving for that coveted A-main victory tonight. Still yet to be seen which karts are truly the best of the best, which drivers are the best of the best in these new karts. Of course, as was discussed in the drivers' meeting, for the first month or so, we're gonna do some normal forward direction racing just to break in both the karts and the drivers with these karts. So that way they're able to really get a sense of what these karts have to offer. And I should mention, I too will be getting to see what these karts have to offer. So, folks, I will be running in the second qualifier of this one. During that qualifier, I believe we will have Quad B helping with the commentary. So, be gentle on him. It will be his first time commentating. So, folks, it's going to be a great night tonight. The tale of tonight is truly going to be the new beginnings. We shall see if those SOTY points will carry over, or if we will start anew and will someone else jump to the top of the leaderboard tonight, or will it continue to be Nasty? Will we see Nasty continue his run of dominance in those SOTY karts and carry it over to the Biz, or will someone else be the new king of on track? I must say, folks, in my first practice race on this track, it definitely felt very similar in terms of the power that these karts have to the SOTY karts. Of course, they are the same amount of horsepower as the SOTY karts, but I must say, with these brand new tires, and you are able to grip to the track like there's no tomorrow. You can run some really quick, fast times. We already seen in the practice races, we saw Lept. He actually dropped a 36.9, setting the track record. Of course, now with the weight in his kart, I doubt he's going to run any time even remotely that quick, as we still have yet to see anyone drop into the 37s in this qualifier. But as almost expected, we see Nasty at the top of the board with a 38.189. So we see a whole jumble of karts going under the bridge now. So I doubt anyone's going to get some truly fast lap times in that pack, but we shall see, folks. Nasty unable to improve. We'll see if anyone's able to jump him. So far, no one's able to jump Nasty. We'll see if Lurchy has anything to say about that. And no, he does not. He does improve to a 39.043, but he is not able to improve beyond that lap time. So, at the top of the leaderboard, we have Nasty, the points leader going into this race, followed then by Kyle 88. Qualifying in P3, we have Buko. So great run for him. If he is able to hold on to that position, that will see him into the A main. Behind him, though, is Mark L. He too could get into the A main if he holds on to fourth, but that is the last position available to guarantee yourself an A main spot. Sitting right behind Mark L is Emma Baker. Then behind her is GTSR. Lurchy sitting down in seventh with a 39.043, the first 39-second lap time of the field. Behind him is Huddy B. Sitting down in P9, I believe that is 82. Down in P10 is Quad B, so not doing so hot in the qualifying there. Behind him, though, is K2. And then rounding out your field, it will be, I believe that is Chad W. So, folks, getting set to go in the first event with the Biz Karts, the first qualifier of the night. Who's gonna get it done here? As we're getting rolling, we're under the bridge. The green flag waves, we're underway. Going into the far hairpin, we already hear a little bit of sliding. They're 3 wide already. That's Lurchy getting pushed out wide, still getting pushed. That's gonna separate the field a little bit into 2 separate packs. That's gonna be the top 6 out of their own pack, and then it's Lurchy, followed by everyone else. But already we're seeing Lurchy gain right back on that front pack, so some good acceleration out of these Biz Karts now. And now he takes a dive to the inside through the light bulb. He will take, I believe that is P7 right back. Meanwhile, up front though, that is Nasty and Kyle 88. They have pulled already to a large gap over everyone else. That's Mark L that's sitting in 3rd place now. With I believe that is Bucco sitting in P4. Yes, that is Bucco, so he does not have his ordinary helmet, but we'll have to keep an eye on him in that 18 kart. Sitting in P5 though, that is Emma Baker with GTSR behind. Lurchy still remains in P7 with 82 ahead of K2. That's the battle for P8. Quad B is trying to make his way by K2 for P9 now, with Huddy B still in P11 and Chad W rounding out your field. Folks, as I alluded to earlier, these karts are able to grip to the track super well with those brand new tires and brand new motors. I already get the feeling that these karts are going to be super fun to drive over these last remaining months of 2026 and into 2027. I must say I was quite a bit rusty in my first attempt at the track. I haven't personally raced since March, so it's been quite a long time for me. But to sit myself in the 39s relatively comfortably and to see the lap times that are getting run out there right now, I'm feeling a little bit better about my chances. Though I must say, folks, I'm really hoping Qualifier 2 isn't stacked, because that could smell trouble for me. But meanwhile, as we look towards the front of the pack yet again, still, it's Nasty and Kyle 88 that are running away from this. About 1 kart length that separates Nasty from Kyle 88 as he starts to close now under the bridge. Then it's about 3 seconds that separate Kyle 88 and Mark L. And then it's just about another 2 seconds back from Bucco in P4 to Emma Baker in P5. So unless Emma Baker can find an extra gear in these karts, I don't know if these came off the truck with an extra gear, but if she's able to find it somehow, some way, we can see her in the fight for the A main. But as it stands, she will have a shot at the pole in the B main. 5 laps already down in this one. We look now to Bucco and Markel. Bucco is looking at the back bumper all throughout this lap. He's right there going through the carousel. Will he make the dive going into turn 1? No, he will not. He is perfectly content with sticking in P4 because he knows P4 will be just enough to get him in the A main. Those A mains haven't quite been plentiful for Bucco, but of course, not too long ago in those Sodi karts, he did have an A main, a top 5 starting spot, no less. So it's great to see him battling to keep himself in that A main in these brand new Biz karts. Meanwhile, we look to the back of the pack now. That's a battle between K2, Quad B. I believe that would be Huddy B. So they're having a great battle there. But that's for P9. That's not going to do anything in the grand scheme of things. That's going to determine who among that group has a shot at starting on the pole in the C main here tonight. So yes, we do have 3 races going out tonight. K2 and Quad B are swiping each other nearly, coming down the back straight. K2 putting on a blocking clinic that he's well known to do here at On Track. Not quite parking it on the corners, but he is doing just enough on those apexes to keep Quad B from doing anything. But at the same time, Quad B is doing just enough to keep Huddy B from getting out in front of him for P10. You're still looking. That's Quad B that's still looking to get by K2, but K2 is shutting the door, slamming the door shut on him. Wrapping up the 9th lap. We're 10 laps into this thing now. This lap will be the 10th, of course. Nasty and Kyle 88 still holding on to P1 and P2. No one able to drop into the 37s so far. Kyle 88 does hold on to the fastest lap of the race, just about 2 100ths ahead of Nasty with the 38.021. Then it's about 2 tenths down to the next fastest lap time. A 38.263 by Mark L in third. Or excuse me, Puko holds on to third fastest lap time with a 38.262. And if you think that was the same exact lap time that Mark L had, well, you're nearly correct. Mark L is only 1,000th of a second slower than Puko, sitting at 1 spot behind. So they're running practically identical lap times, trying to vouch for any, vouch for any position. Excuse me, joust. That was the word I was looking for. I'm sorry, folks. Now we yet again look to the front of the pack. That's Nasty, that's catching up on lap traffic. He's actually pulled a fair bit of a gap on Kyle 88 in the lead now. Lap traffic is coming into play just a little bit, finally moving out of the way of the leaders. In the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter too much, though, as we see the 2 to go out to Nasty. Just 2 more times around for him. So we see in the back of the pack, that's K2 that is going almost obnoxiously slow, trying to keep Quad B at bay. Quad B not pleased at all with them. We'll see if he makes the dive out of desperation. Will he do that? Or will he push him through the corner? We shall see, but meanwhile, at the front of the pack, the white flag goes out for Nasty. One more time around. It'll be the first win in these Biz Karts. Sure, it's only a qualifying race, but it'll be cool for Nasty, the points leader going into this race, to get the first victory in these Biz Karts. We see in the back of the pack, though, that's Quad B trying the crossover, trying it on the outside. He's slamming his fist against the steering wheel, trying anything and everything to get by K2. He'll have one more lap to do it. But coming coming through the kink for the final time. Nasty will take the first qualifying victory. He takes the victory in Q1. Kyle 88. He'll finish in P2. So those two will have potentially a spot in the top 5. But we look down to the rest of those that are guaranteed in the A-main. That is Mark L in P3 and Bucco finishing in P4. But we have to watch through the carousel for the final time. That is K2 and Quad B. It does not look like Quad B is going to be able to get it done. He will not get by K2, so K2 is able to hold on to P9 there. Despite his best efforts, that is Quad B finishing in P10. But folks, it is Nasty that takes the first qualifying victory, followed then by Kyle 88, of course, Mark L, and Bucco. That is your top 4. Emma Baker will round out your top 5, but sadly, that will mean a B main starting spot for her. So, folks, we'll have to see who gets in the top 5. Will it be Kyle 88 or will it be any of the other second place finishers from these next 2 races? I must say though, folks, I have to get myself ready for this second qualifier. So folks, stay tuned. We'll be back very shortly.
right, guys, getting ready to go here. You have our Group 2 qualifier. Start off with our 3-lap qualifier for the 15-lap heat race. The previous commentator, Caboose, coming out second right here in part number 9. In the last race, we had Nasty and Kyle 88 in first and second place of the Group 1 qualifier and heat race combo. Heat race, or lap number 1 of 3 is out right now. The last person to exit pit lane being Pete and JP, or left rather. Hard to use racer names because I don't usually commentate. This is Quad B. All right, our lap leader, cart number 8, is going to be passing now under the finish line, start finish. We're going to get our times for the first lap. Cart 8 with a 39.0, with a number 7 in a 38.3. Number 5 with a 39.1, number 12 with a 38.5. Cart number 11 with a 38.6. Ooh, it's getting a little hectic here. Cart 17 with a 40. 38 with Gone Racing, cart number 3. Espo 39.5. I'll just read them all out at the end. Fastest lap so far is going to be Karsten in cart number 7. It's going to be 38.3 of the first lap. Karsten gets a slower lap this time around, lap number 2 with the 38.5, beaten by DJ Alessander with a 38.3 in cart number 12. Looks like this is going to be your top 3 is DJ Alessander in cart 12, cart number 7, Karsten with a 38.5, and Gone Racing in cart number 3 with a 38.4. Oh, it was just beaten by left in cart 15 for a 38.2. Ooh, retaken a 38.2 flat by Karsten in cart 7. Let's see if Gone Racing can pull it off. No, he barely does not make the podium start placement. So, your lineup is, left is coming in hot. Let's see if he can beat it. And he does not, with a 38.228. So your starting lineup's going to be part 7, Karsten, part 15, left, part 12, DJ Alessander, part 3, Gone Racing, part 8, going to be, hold on, wait for the cycling of the projector. Going to be cart 8, Tamara with a 38.4, cart 4, JP57 with a 38.46, cart 11, Coach Crowley, 38.5, cart number 5, Danny D with a 38.6, cart 16, Espo 4 at 38.7, cart 17, Dr. Izam, or Izam, with a 39.1, and good old Boos, the commentator, cart number 9, starting in 11th place, the 39.2, and last will be Flash. And some cycles, I'll let you know. We are ready to get going underway here under our green flag for the 15-lap race. And they're off. Green flags dropping, everyone's going crazy. Part 11 tries to duck it on the inside, and left sticks it. Karsten going into second place. JP following Gone Racing, and was that 4th? Oh, a spin right off the start, but it looks easily correctable by cart number 8. Left passing Karsten. Nope. Correction. Let's wait till the line firms out here for a little bit. All right, left takes the lead. Karsten followed, JP, then Gone Racing. Danny D closely following behind. Getting a little hectic here. They're going side by side. Danny D and cart number 5 and cart 12. Who is that? That would be DJ Alessander. Like I got moved to the back off the start. Karsten is running a faster time with a 38.177 to left's 38.228. So let's see if he can hold this defensive line in the brand new carts at on-track Karting go time Wallingford. Left is able to hold a strong racing line as Karsten follows on the similar line, but the gap keeps closing each turn. So let's see how long before left takes a defensive stance. JP57 also in a similar situation with Gone Racing. In cart number 3, pursuing him. And also the battle behind them being cart 12, passing Danny D in cart 5. DJ Alessander quickly making up that lost time off the start of the race. Carson hot on his tail, Gone Racing on JP57. Oh! Right before start finish, we had a Part 17 got moved, Dr. Izam. Let's see if he makes that position, give it back. I don't see a call being made just a second. And I don't see a flag. So I think we're in the clear. Coach Crowley was able to get past our lovely commentator, Caboose, part 9, through the far hairpin. Battle still rages on at the first 4, with left still holding the lead against Karsten in cart 7. Cart 4 narrowly holding a lead against Gone Racing in cart 3. And towards the rear of the pack, the full track widens out except for cart 9, Caboose, with cart 8, who got moved to the rear off the start as well, trying to get around his heavy defensive line. Things remain unchanged at the first 4, with Karsten still having the fastest lap of the 15-lap race, 5 laps in. But a similar time is produced by left. Both are achieving 38.1s. Their most recent lap was a 38.2, so very consistent pace, or maybe Karsten is just being slowed down by left's defensive driving. Once again, they follow in like a train. 4 carts, 2 train cars. Practically bumper to bumper for the last 5 laps. Ooh. Our commentator got moved to the outside by a wedge dive bomb attack by car number 8. Let's see if they that position to maintain. And they do, only giving a rolled black. Coach Crowley closely behind, driving in kart 11 against Flash in kart 10. Flash producing a 38.8 best to Coach Crowley's 38.4. So he can maintain the pace. He should have the spot. Gone Racing unable to get around JP57 as entering the far side hairpin. Looking now towards the start finish, seeing if any wiggle room can be made between the two. Ooh. Kart number 17 going side to side with our commentator, Caboose. Clearly trying to wedge and slow him down. Once again, masterclass defensive driving produced by both Left and JP57. Only 5 laps left in this 15-lap heat race. Not much to say here since the track has widened up pretty much except for the top 4 spots with their own race respectively. The gap between the 4 drivers is almost 3 seconds. 3 seconds between the top 2 and the next 2. Getting close to the wire here. Let's see if Karsten can make a move on start-finish. Is unable to. Gone Racing, having enough speed, gets slowed down by JP57's early braking. Only 2 laps left to go. Let's see if Left can hold off this pole position. As the white flag gets furled out, it will be the signal for the last lap as Karsten tries to wedge himself after start-finish. Quickly following closely behind on Left's bumper as he breaks away from the immediate collision. Going back under the bridge, coming back around. I think this is it, folks, for the Group 2 Heat Race and Qualifier combo. It's going to be part number 15. Left in first place to the A main with Karsten, part number 7 in second, JP57 in kart 4 in 4th place. It will be Gone Racing in kart 3, 5th place. Kart 12, DJ Alessander. Number 6th place will be kart 5, Danny D. In 7th place, kart 16, Espo. Right off the end, we were able to get a pass by Tamara, who secured 9th place. But before that, we got 8th place, kart 11, Coach Crowley. Ninth place had just secured it right off of the end after Flash was able to get moved backwards into 10th place. Then our final two, as the monitor flips back over, will be kart 17. I believe that is Dr. Izam, and in 12th place, going to be kart number 9 or commentator of Boops. This is Quan B, and I don't do commentating. Thank you.
Well, a bit of a disappointing finish from yours truly, rounding out the rear and holding true to his name, Caboose. Overall, I'm not too disappointed with that lap time, though. It was quite a bit better than a lot of the drivers that were in that first heat. But as we get set to go for the third qualifier of the night, the third and final qualifier of the night, we'll get to see at the end of this one who our field for the A main is and who will be starting inside the top 5. So folks, stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. So folks, as we get the third and final qualifier set to go, they're already out on track, wrapping up their first lap. Of course, with these new karts, they're not just available to the league racers out here tonight, they're available to you guys too. They're brand new, they're ready to track with you guys in it. So if you want to come out here and try out these brand new karts fresh off the boat, you can try them out too. So come in with a few of your buddies, come in with your coworkers, come in for a birthday party if you want. I mean, you got someone that you know that loves racing. What better place than here at On Track Karting in Wallingford, Connecticut? Bring out your friends and family. Let's have a little fun. Now the drivers are starting to wrap up their third and final lap of this 3-lap qualifier to determine the field. That is, I believe, Piasca. That is the first driver to finish all 3 laps. He currently sits in P6 with a 38.463. But meanwhile, at the top of the board, I believe that's the first 37 we've seen in the lead. That is coming from Passmaster, so shocker there to see him at the top of the board. Swifty, in his return, he sits in P2 with a 38.056. Right behind him, though, is Martinsville Muffin with a 38.091. And then behind him, we have Who's Your Daddy with, I believe he was in the 38.0 somewhere right behind Martinsville Muffin. I'm apologizing for not quite knowing. There it is, 38.146. That is his lap time. Rounding out the top 5, though, will be Firefighter. Sitting down in P6 will be number 1 Dad. Piasca actually drops down to P7 after our whole field makes their final laps. First or last, he's making his return, but it looks like he might be, in his own mind, he might be finishing last. You ain't first, you're last in his eyes, but sitting down in P9, though, is Race Queen. P10, we got Steve-O. In P11, we got Chowda. So, starting right in the same spot where I did. My brother. I just hope it goes better for you out there. But then rounding out your field, who would that be? That would be Peppers. That's rounding out your field. As they're already rolling yet again, they're going under the bridge. The green flag waves. We're underway in the third qualifier. Chowda with a good restart at the back of the pack. He does get clear of Peppers there. And meanwhile, at the front of the pack, we already see Passmaster starting to pull a slight gap on Swifty. We'll see if that stays. Steve-O actually clips the inside wall going through the kink. Will he get caught out there by Chowda? He might, but it looks like Steve-O will get the run off exit of turn 3, and he will indeed get clear. Oh, that is Piasca, I believe, taking out Race Queen. Will she get caught out? Now, actually, Piasca gets the blue and yellow flag early in this one. He drops all the way to the rear. So now he's going to be in a battle with Chowda and Peppers. So an early blue and yellow flag, that is something that is not commonly seen here at On Track, but it was deemed just enough to justify a blue and yellow flag here on lap 1. Swifty swiftly on the first lap. He actually runs a 37.983, so he joins Passmaster as the lone drivers in this league night to run a 37-second lap time. Who's Your Daddy sits in P3 with Martinsville Muffin now in P4. So those two will be vying for that final transfer spot. Sitting behind them, though, a good ways back, is Firefighter. He's in a 3-cart pack that includes both number 1 Dad and I believe that's first or last. Yes. So yes, first or last, number 1 Dad. They're going to be battling Firefighter there to get into P5. Of course, it's not going to be enough to get them into the A main, but it could get them the pole of the B main if they run a fast enough lap time. Meanwhile, we once again look to the front of the pack. Passmaster running a 37 after 37. I believe he's ran 37s in every lap so far, including all 3 qualifying laps. So an impressive run for him early on in this one. We'll see if anyone's able to touch him. If he's able to hold on to the lead here, he'll of course guarantee himself on the pole. Of course, we thank Quad B for doing the second qualifying commentary. He's out there. You look right at the kink. He's doing some photography, some of the flyby shots of these drivers in their first attempts in the biz carts. We look now to the back of the pack. Piasca was actually able to get by Chowda. Looks like a few laps ago, because he's definitely gained quite a bit of time there on Steve-O. Martinsville Muffin and Who's Your Daddy, they're continuing to battle hard for the 3rd place, the final podium spot at the very least in this 3rd qualifier. 5 laps already gone in this one. The battle, though, for P6 is heating up. Looks like first or last is definitely giving number 1 Dad the bumper, as now they're starting to get in a more of a single file formation. You see if first or last does anything to help number 1 Dad, or will he be selfish and try to get through and get himself into 5th place all on his own? We shall see, though. Passmaster, that last lap of the race there, he just ran the fastest lap. I believe that is a 37.852, a 37.8. That is a really good lap time. Of course, not going to touch the lap time that left set in the practice races. No one's going to touch the 36 tonight. Could see that, of course, happen very shortly with the colder months coming up. However, it'll probably be another couple months or so before we see some consistent 36s out there. Passmaster continuing to drop his lap time. He's actually just shaved off only 1,000th off his lap time at 37.851 now. So he is now continuing to run away there. That's from Swifty. So a really good performance from Swifty in his return. Of course, he's not going to be happy to see Taskmaster running away with it, but really should be happy with where he's finishing this one. He'll see himself in the A-main if he's able to hold on. It would take a catastrophic breakdown for him to drop down to P5, because there is about, I believe, almost 5.5 seconds down to P5. So we'd have to lose that much time in just about 10 laps, a little over 10 laps. Unless Hoosier Daddy and Martinsville Muffin are able to catch up, which so far they're not doing so, but they are running significantly quicker lap times, I should say, than they ran in the past. At last lap, they ran a 38.167 and a 38.061 respectively. Hoosier Daddy was actually able to drop into the 37s, so the top three in this one are the only three drivers to drop into the 37s tonight. Martinsville Muffin right on the verge, though. He holds a 38.006. So he said if he's able to drop off just 6 thousandths of a second, he's going to join that elite club here tonight. Number one, Dad, though, he actually made his way by Firefighter. We'll see if first or last will do the same. That is a battle, of course, for P5. If first or last is able to make his way by Firefighter, we'll see if he can maybe catch up to number one, Dad, and make his way by, because he was certainly right on his tailpipes in the early goings of this one. Of course, first or last, he holds just about a 1.5 tenth advantage over Firefighter. He ran, I believe, yes, a 38.287 compared to a 38.449. So actually a little bit over a 1.5 tenth advantage. Race Queen behind both of them, though. She actually holds on to a 38.123. So she now sees herself in that battle. It's going to be a 4-car battle to get into P5. Actually pretty ironic that we see 4, then 4, then 4. That's the exact amount of cars that will see themselves in the A, B, and C main respectively. So what we're seeing right now is just a battle of who starts on which row in each of the respective mains. As we now see Firefighter taking a peek. He's not going to take the dive, though. But because he got shuffled out just a little bit wide there, he did get the bump there from first or last, who subsequently got a bump from Race Queen. As there's now 2 to go in this one. We'll see how that battle shapes out. As Passmaster at the front of the pack, he just passed onto the bridge now. He is just about 1.5 seconds ahead of Swifty. But we shall see if he's able to hold him off and take the pole going into the A main. The white flag flies now one more time around. Really no battle going on for first or second place, but the battle for third place is certainly heating up. We're seeing Martinsville Muffin trying the crossover anywhere he can, going into turn 4. We're seeing them weave underneath the bridge there. Will he get under him? Will he give him a shunt through the carousel? He will. Will he get there? Will he get there? No, he will not. He'll have to settle for 4th place. But meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Passmaster will take the 3rd heat race victory. And we look now to P5. Yes, that is number one. Dad, that is able to hold off Firefighter. And there is no position changes in that final 5 laps or so there. So your top 4 from this one, you're guaranteed A-main contenders. It's going to be Passmaster, followed then by Swifty finishing in P2. Who's Your Daddy will finish on the podium in P3, and Martinsville Muffin will round out those that are guaranteed in the A-main in P4. Rounding out your top 5, though, is number 1 Dad with Firefighter, rounding out the top 6, I should say, finishing in P6. Mercer Lex will finish in P7. So I believe Race Queen finishing in P8. Fiasco with a bit of a sad drive from him. We should see him on the pole in the C main later on tonight. Steve-O will finish down in P10 with Chowda holding position in P11. Peppers will round out your field in P12. So folks, stay tuned. We should have the interviews coming shortly. We do apologize if they do not happen, of course, tonight, given the time constraints. But we shall see here, folks. Stay tuned. All right, folks. Of course, I've been advised that there will not be any interviews going into the A main. Of course, given that there are 3 main races in this one, we will not have nearly enough time to get everyone in. And we already now, just as a matter of time, we already see some karts on the track now, so it'll be just a short time coming that we'll see the first A main in the Biz Karts. Stay tuned, folks. All right, folks, we're getting set to go in this one. We're going to give you the running order if we can get it in time. Starting on the pole, it will be Passmaster, one of the few drivers to get into the 37s here tonight. Starting alongside him will be Nasty. Sitting down in P3, though, will be Left. So those are your 3 qualifying race winners. Sitting down in P4 will be Swifty, followed then by Kyle88. Karsten will round out your top 6 in your front half of the field. Who's Your Daddy will be in P7. Mark L will start in P8. JP57 will start down in P9 with his good buddy Martinsville Muffin rounding out your top 10 right behind him. Buko will start in P11. And rounding out your field, we're going to have Gone Racing. So, folks, it's going to be a great race. We're going to have a lot of fun in these Biz Karts. I can already feel it. We see the 2 kings of on track starting on the front row as we're getting rolling. They're under the bridge now. The green flag waves. We're underway in the A main. Already getting pushed out wide. Who is that? I believe that's Left. So he drops down a ton of spots on the first lap. He drops down from P3, I believe, down to maybe P7. Yes, down to P7 on the first lap for Left. We'll see if he's able to make his way back up towards the front. He's now sitting right behind his buddy Karsten in P6. We'll see if Swifty is able to hold off the hard-charging Karsten. He said it just before this A main, that being Karsten, he was saying that it reminds him a lot of the Monza karts. Which isn't too shocking given I do believe the Monza karts are now Biz. But with that in mind, Karsten is very much a name to watch out for on the Monza track up at Foxwoods. So we should see him potentially make a late charge in this one. He, of course, still sitting in P6. We look now towards the front of the pack. That's still Passmaster and Nasty that are running away somewhat with this one. Kyle, 88. He's doing a good job keeping up with those top 2. Doing a very good job keeping up with those top 2. Especially given just how dominant those drivers have been this year at On Track. Of course, with the new beginnings in these Biz Karts, we could see some new faces make their way to the top of the board. As we now see that some hard-nosed racing between Swifty and I believe that is Who's Your Daddy is now. Who's Your Daddy gets pushed out wide. He'll lose a couple of spots. That's coming from the bumper of Karsten. We'll see if Karsten has to give that spot back. I do not know. might just be getting a rollback. Nothing doing. But Karsten is able to make his way by. So too is left on Hoosier Daddy. And now Hoosier Daddy is getting pressured by Martinsville Muffin right behind him in P8. Markel has sadly dropped down to P12 in this one, so a bit sad to see him falling off the pace. So we now look in the back of the pack. Martinsville Muffin was able to make his way by for, I believe, yes, P7. So he was able to make the pass coming through the third hairpin of 4 on this track. So he now sits in P7 with now Gone Racing heavily looking at the back bumper of Hoosier Daddy. So Gone Racing having a good race, bumping from P12 all the way up to P9. Now up to P8, potentially will not be able to get the job done going through the light bulb, and he actually might get caught out by JP57. Not quite. Nearly gets caught out by JP57. He was making a look coming through the exit of the light bulb. Not quite able to get the job done on the outside there. Now the battle for P4 is really heating up. That's between Karsten, left, and Swifty is now left. Looks to the inside of Karsten. He'll get the job done into turn 4. Squeaky clean pass there by left. He'll now set his sights on Swifty to get back in the battle for the A-main victory, potentially. Though it might be too tall of an ask to get up there with the arguably the 2 best drivers that we have here at On Track, and it's still Passmaster and Nasty. But as I said before, Kyle88, he's having himself a really good race, holding on to P3. Of course, he's looking behind him, seeing all the battling that's going on. He knows if they get single file enough, he could be getting caught out very shortly, as it's now looking like that's exactly what's going to happen. He has a 4-cart pack that is catching rapidly to his back bumper. Left looking to the outside there as Swifty going into turn 4 will not be able to make the pass on that outside lane. Perhaps it's just strategy to keep the rest of that pack behind him, trying to get them to follow through not quite a bad line, but more of a defensive line. As now that 5-cart pack, if any one of them stumbles, we could see a large position change for anyone. This has now quickly become the battle for P3 as the top 2 continue to run away with this thing, as we've now crossed the halfway mark in this one. Look towards the back of the pack now. Hoosier Daddy is still holding off the likes of Gone Racing and JP57. That's for P8 there. Mark L has fallen significantly off the pace. He's not really catching Bucco all too quickly. He's catching ever so slightly, but these past few laps he's been running nearly 39-second laps, so he's not gonna be able to really do anything in the remaining laps of this one if he's running those sorts of lap times. He of course had a fast lap early on in this one, but not going to be enough if he continues to run these 39-second lap times. That's Kyle Martin with a little bit of a slip up. He runs out wide. He washes out wide through turn 2. Swifty to the inside. Kyle Martin will get pushed out wide. Swifty now into P3. Karsten looking to the inside. Will not get the job done now. Who is that? I believe that's Martinsville Muffin looking to get by Karsten. And yes, he will into the far hairpin there. So Martinsville Muffin now sees himself, I believe, into P6. So Karsten loses one spot there when he could have gained potentially two. Now 13 laps into this one. It continues to be Passmaster and Nasty. The gap is just 1 second, but these two are running near identical lap times lap after lap. Passmaster may be running just a hair quicker these past few laps. He's been running relatively consistent 37s. And just that past lap time, exactly as I thought, they're running nearly identical. 4 1,000ths of a second separate their lap times. Swifty now starting to run away there. From left, he sees himself into P4. Kyle 88 has subsequently dropped into P5, and he might see himself drop into P6. Yes, he will. Martinsville Muffin makes the pass for P5 into that far hairpin. So that's been the spot where a lot of these drivers have been able to make their way by Kyle 88. So it does appear that he's not really doing all too hot there through the hairpins. He's getting caught out through all of them. He got caught out through turn 2 there. He potentially got caught out through turn 4, the other hairpin. He just got caught out through the far hairpin there. We once again look to the front of the pack. That is Passmaster still making his way through the carousel. As he crosses the stripe now, there's 4 to go. The battle for P8 is really heating up meanwhile. That's between Who's Your Daddy and Gone Racing. Gone Racing has given him quite a number of bumps going into turn 4 and turn 3 as well. The fast right-hander. We'll see if he's able to do anything with that. Give him quite a number of bumps through the double apex and through the carousel. I would not be all too surprised to see him make a dive. Yes, there it is. He makes the dive into turn 1 and he'll get clear. Will he get bumps there? No, he will not. Gone Racing gets himself into P8. Seeing a little bit of wheel hopping there from Who's Your Daddy. Well, maybe that's just him trying to catch up just a little bit too quick back up to Gone Racing. But if he keeps doing that, he could get caught out by JP57 just as easily. And as across the stripe now, that's 2 laps to go in this one. Left, meanwhile, looking for any way to get by Swifty. He took a peek going into turn 1, but ducked back in line. But he still remains right on the back bumper of Swifty. But coming through the carousel, and now through the kink, it's Passmaster. It takes the white flag one more time around. Will he get the job done? The first A main victory in the Biz Karts. Oh man, in the back of the pack, that's Martinsville Muffin. He's looking to the inside of left. Yes, he'll get the job done, albeit with a little bit of a shunt into the wall. Not exactly squeaky clean, but clean enough. But now, coming out of the carousel for the final time, through the kink, Passmaster, he'll take the A-Main victory, the first with the Biz Karts. Nasty will finish right behind him, so we'll have to see what that means for the point standings. Of course, we shall see if the points even carry over in the first place. But of course, if they don't, it will be a huge points day for Passmaster with all these drivers that he beat, a 36-man night. That'll be a big deal for him. Rounding out your podium, though, will be Swifty with Martinsville Muffin finishing in P4. Left is actually dropped down into P5. So he'll round out your top 5 at the very least. Karsten, he finishes in P6 with Kyle 88 dropping all the way down to P7. Have to take a look, see who finished in P8 in this one as the timing and scoring. Here we go. P8 would be Gone Racing. P9 would be Who's Your Daddy with JP57 finishing in P10. Finishing all the way down in P11 is Buko. And rounding out your field is Mark L. So sadly, not really able to improve on his early fast lap times. Running significantly slower in the later goings of this one. That, folks, is your A main, the first one with the Biz carts. That was a great one. That was a great one. All right, folks, we'll be back very shortly with the B main. See who's able to get that one done. It'll be, of course, 12 drivers vying for that one as well. Stay tuned, folks. All right, folks, we're getting set to bring you the B main in this one. Starting on the pole is DJ Alessandra, I believe. Starting on the outside pole will be number 1 Dad with Emma Baker rounding out your top 3. Firefighter and Danny D will be the last drivers in the top 5, with GTSR rounding out the top half of the field. First or last will start in P7, with Lurchie starting in P8. Espo will start in P9, Race Queen in P10, Coach Crowley in P11, and then rounding out your field will be 82 in P12. So folks, we're already getting rolling. We're under the bridge. The green flag waves, and we're underway. Already seeing quite a bit of bump, and that's Firefighter on Emma Baker, I believe. She's still able to hold on to P3 for the time being, as we see 2 wide in the back of the pack. That is between Lurchie and GTSR. As GTSR took a dive, but he might get caught out now. Yes, he will, by Race Queen, I believe. So Race Queen with a decent start, but in the back of the pack, quite a bit of bump in there. Who is that from? I believe that's from 82. We now look towards the front of the pack. DJ Alessandri, he's pulling away in this one, actually. So a brand new face. He's doing a really good job at maintaining his lead early in this one. He has the fastest lap time by just about 0.4 of a second so far, of course. We shall see if those fast drivers that are sitting currently mid-pack are able to make their way and get towards the front of the pack, or will it be one of those places where it's more single file than we otherwise want to see? Already now we see Firefighter right on the tailpipes of Emma Baker. She's getting bumped there in P3. She got out just a bit wide. She slid it into P4. Shall she, if she gets caught out wide? No, looking for the dive for a brief moment there was Firefighter, but he gets right back in line. There is now a 6-cart battle right behind Emma Baker, as now number 1 Dad. He is right on the tailpipes of DJ Alessandra. Oh my goodness. Some big bumps there from first or last on Danny D. He is not playing around at all. He's trying to do whatever he can to get to the front of the pack. He tried to dive into the far hairpin. He gets caught out wide. He gets caught out now. He'll get back 1 spot, but now Lurchie is able to make his way by into P6. So right now it's a matter of whether or not Firefighter is able to make his way by Emma Baker and subsequently towards the front of the pack, or will we see any of those drivers in that huge pack, the rest of the pack essentially, the 7 carts that are in that pack, will we see any of them make their way by Danny D in P5? Still maintaining the gap over number 1 Dad, though, is DJ Alessandra. Number 1 Dad not quite able to make up enough time. He's keeping the gap relatively consistent. Now he's finally there. He's right on the tailpipes going through the double apex. We'll have to see if he loses any time out of the carousel. We've seen him lose a little bit of time, so DJ Alessandra looking just a tad bit quicker coming out of the carousel and out of the double hairpin. Yes, indeed. I believe number one dad is getting just a bit too antsy going out of the double hairpin, and more specifically out of turn 2. He's putting the bumper onto DJ there, subsequently losing a lot of lap time, losing a lot of time trying to get by. Meanwhile, oh my goodness, there is a huge line of carts, all single filing, slithering like a snake right behind Danny D. Who's going to be the first one to make a move? Will it be Lurchy? Will it be any of the other guys? As now we actually see it's about to potentially become an 8-part battle. Lurchy now looking to the inside of Danny D. Yes, he'll make the pass. First or last now, potentially going to get caught out. No, he will not. He'll stay right in position right now behind Danny D. But as I was alluding to earlier, Emma Baker, because she's blocking Firefighter with all her might, that's letting everyone else right in this battle. Oh my goodness, 2 by 2 going through the light bulb, and First or Last somehow, some way is able to get himself by Danny D. So too will Race Queen, and so too now, who is that? That's Espo. Espo is able to make his way by. Wow. Danny D lost, I believe, 3, maybe 4 spots there in just about 3 corners. We could see him lose yet another spot. Oh my goodness. Danny D drops all the way down to P9. Maybe P10 now, yes, P10. 3 wide though, going through the double apex, nearly 4 wide. That's First or Last that nearly attempted to make it 4 wide. They're able to keep it relatively straight, as now they're staying single file. Oh, they're around in turn 2. That's Emma Baker that's around. Oh my goodness, I could tell you right now, I knew that was gonna happen, folks. Who's gonna get the blue and yellow there? Personally, I did not see exactly what happened. The lead up there. Wow. Will there be anyone that gets the blue and yellow? Yes, it's First or Last that will get the blue and yellow. The driver that was just a tad bit too confident going into the double apex, nearly tried to go 4 wide. He will have to drop, I believe, all the way down to P12. We'll see if he's willing to give up that spot. As it stands, he's willing to give up 1 spot there. Will he have to give up more, though? You will indeed. He'll get the blue and yellow continue. He'll continue to get the blue and yellow. See just how far he'll have to drop back as he now pulls into the pits. Oh, boy. So now that our eyes are off that whole battle, realistically, we see First or Last talking to Maze now, trying to see exactly what went wrong there. Definitely looked like it could have been any one of those drivers that did the bumping into turn 1, because of course it was, I believe, at least a 7-cart pack going into that turn. So it could have been yet another one of those accordion effects that caused, well, whatever that was. But we now look yet again towards the front of the pack. DJ Alessandro now, he's pulled a 1.5 second gap over number 1 Dad. So very impressive drive out of him so far. Espo 4, he sits in P3 though, albeit 8 seconds back of the lead, but he's putting together an impressive drive. Firefighter still in P4, with Coach Crowley now right on his bumper in P5. Lurchy not too far behind in P6, with GTSR slacking behind ever so slightly. 82 is in P8. Danny D has worked his way up a couple of spots into P9. Race Queen still in P10. And Emma Baker, of course, the driver that got spun around there, she's been filled with bad luck. It feels like every week now. She sits down in P11. And now, of course, with first or last off the track, he'll have a DNF in this one. Now we look back to the pack. Race Queen looking. Danny D running wide. Will Race Queen make it around the outside? No, she will not. So Danny D ran out wide just enough so that he didn't lose too much time. Race Queen looking for the dive. But Danny D walking it to perfection. Race Queen had to move back to the outside so as to not lose any time on Danny D. Maybe she'll try it into turn 1 here. No, she will not. We now look to that battle for P5. Coach Crowley now, he got passed there by Lurchy. Coach Crowley, of course, holding on to the fastest lap of this race at 38.234. But we shall see if they give each other a little bit of slack, or will it be elbows out the whole way around, as there's now 2 laps to go. DJ Alessandra has put on a dominating performance so far. Those past few laps, he's already gained just about 1.5 seconds of time on number 1 Dad. He's pulled a 3.2 second lead. It's now remaining 8 seconds back to Espo, but now the white flag flies for DJ. 1 more lap around for him. That battle for now, it's P4. Firefighter, he could see himself get caught out by Lurchy, who just ran the fastest lap of the race, a 38.185. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But going through the final hairpin, through the double apex. And now coming out of the carousel through the kink, DJ Alessandra. He'll take the B-main victory tonight. Oh, getting put into the wall. Who is that there? Could not tell you. I believe that is Race Queen. I'm not sure what happened there. I think she just went into the wall on her own. But at any rate, that's in the back of the pack, so it's not going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Firefighter was able to hold off Lurchy for P4. Lurchy, of course, finishing down in P5, with Coach Crowley finishing in P6. GTSR finishes down in P7. 82 finishes in P8. Danny D finishes in P9, with Emma Baker finishing down in P10. Race Queen will, of course, finish in P11. First or last with the DNF will finish in P12. We now look to the top of the leaderboard. It's Espo finishing in P3, number 1 Dad finishing in P2, and, of course, your B-main winner, DJ Alessandra. But folks, stay tuned. I'm gonna have a really cool camera angle for you folks. C-main coming up very soon. Stay tuned.
like you can hear me.
Okay. Alright.
Which one am I in?
Huh?
Which one am I in?
Did you pick?
18.
The cart that exists. Get the cart that exists.
Well, I don't know if you guys can hear me, folks, but you're driving. And you see me. Starting at E6, I believe. Good drivers here.
Interesting CNA, and I will try and keep it family friendly, especially for my kids actually working. My second time commentating. racers each. I will give you a final look at the scoreboard right here. Managing to get in third place myself. Barely beaten by Steve-O's time. Told you his kart was faster, but that is it for now, ladies and gentlemen. If you were able to hear me during the race, this was Quad B. If not, enjoy the pictures. Closing the stream